Hello again and welcome to my channel. We're going to talk about safety in Jamaica. Is Jamaica safe? And the answer is yes. Jamaica is safe. Jamaica is relatively safe. Now, safe is a very broad word as it relates to safety in Jamaica, because there are so many aspects of safety. Safety as it relates to what exactly? Alright, so there are different things that I'm going to talk about. Safety as it relates to solo traveling, safety as it relates to solo female travelers, safety as it relates to cultural difference, safety as it relates to violence, and safety as it relates to homosexuality. Alright, now Jamaica is divided into 14 parishes and 14 different sections of Jamaica, and out of the 14 parishes, only 4 parishes that are really considered as caution zones, and it's not the entire parish that has these concerns. There are like little spots in these parishes that have the issue. So therefore you have Kingston is a parish which is the capital of Jamaica, and they have a few communities or a few areas in Kingston that is really considered as a bad area. You have Clarendon, Maypen. There's some areas of Clarendon that you would consider as a bad area, and you have St. James, and there's some areas in St. James, specifically Montego Bay, that is really considered a bad area. And the other area is Spanish Town, which is located in St. Catherine. St. Catherine is a huge place. You have Portmore, you have Linstead, you have St. Catherine and Spanish Town, and so many other different or smaller towns in St. Catherine. And Spanish Town is just one area, Spanish Town is the capital of St. Catherine, but it's just one area in the entire parish that is really considered a bad area, and it's not even everywhere in Spanish Town either. There's a small area in Spanish Town. So I mean, the media, to me, I guess they're trying to get views and everything, but they just blow things out of proportion. Don't get me wrong, I'm not naive to the situation. I know that these things happen, but compared to other countries, it's not very different. I mean, the same issues that you're finding in Jamaica, you can find it in every other country. The only difference is that it's not as advertised as how people would, make it known, like on Jamaica, because Jamaica, put aside the violence, Jamaica is known for tourism. Jamaica is known for Bob Marley, the beaches, Usain Bolt, Shelley and Fraser, all these other things. And I mean, just having Jamaica in your title give you views, so these media sometimes shape the article or the news in a particular way that will pull your attention. So as you see Jamaica in the title, it's so as it relates to dangerous, because Jamaica is huge when it comes to tourism, and that's one of the main areas that they got a lot of income. So you can see where it would make sense for them to not only highlight the good but also highlight the bad things, because people like to hear bad things, people like to hear drama, people like to be entertained and all of these things. So it only makes sense for them to highlight what's bad in the country. But when you look on the grand scheme of things, it's not very different from any other country. It's not very different. It's really not. Alright, now want you to not acknowledge that these things don't happen, like the crime and crime as it relates to petty theft or actual violence, murder and all these things. But we're not crazy people. We're not going to wait on you to come through the airport and then shoot you in the head or something. We're not crazy people. All of these murders that happen, they happen for a reason. And that leads me into the topic that we're going to talk about, the culture. I read an article today about the Jamaica being the third dangerous country for female travelers. And I would say behind all of that there is some truth to it, because of cultural differences. Now, in Jamaica, you have the men in Jamaica, they are impressed to call to a female if she dressed nicely, or she's very shapy, or she's wearing some form of revealing clothing, or just mere fact because you're a female. There are it's really true. The Jamaican men by nature, I mean, some of them might not say anything to you, but there are others who will call to you by using a bunch of collective or creative adjectives they might use to pull your attention or get your attention. They might say something like empress, or these are empresses normally that you hear from like the Rasta men, which is a very nice way of saying hi, I guess. They'll say empress, or for the other ones they'll say babes or niceness or some other adjective, or they might say psst, like they're losing air from a car. It's like a common thing in Jamaica. So the Jamaican females, the females in Jamaica, I mean, it happens so often for them that it's not even like they blow it off sometimes. They will have some females who might retaliate and might get might get defensive, but it's happened so often that some females get used to it, and therefore you coming in a country that you have no idea how the culture is. As a female, you have no idea how the culture is, and you are approached by a male when you're dressed in a revealing clothing, or you look very nice, or you dress very well, and they're calling to you in some way. It might seem to you as what you might consider as sexual harassment. It might not be the same for us in Jamaica. As in, it might be the same, yes, but it doesn't affect us in the same way it might affect you as a female. And therefore, it would only make sense for you to think of it as sexual assault, and then therefore go back to your country and say, hey, I don't really like Jamaica because I was sexually assaulted in Jamaica. But it's a very normal thing, and as a female, you have to know exactly how to treat the situation. So when someone like that approach you in a particular way, you can just nicely say hi, or nicely turn them down, because they might even ask you for your number, where you're staying, and all of these things. But I mean, if you really think about it, these things happen in almost every country, because I remember going to Nicaragua, and they have a thing that they say in Nicaragua, morena, or they might say something other, because morena means brown skin or brown skin, and therefore they're calling to me brown skin in the same way, or the same version, or the Spanish version of how Jamaicans would call. I don't know. I think in America it might be a little different in the way how they call to you, but it's almost the same thing. And therefore, because it's so common for us in Jamaica, it's sometimes blown off. We don't, look on it like a big deal, which is why it is good for you to know about the culture of a country before you get into the country. And it will avoid, you will have an idea of what you're to expect, and therefore it won't be a surprise when you get to the country. Oh my goodness, there are so many things I want to talk about with the safety in Jamaica, and I don't even know if we can do everything in one. I don't know if we can do everything in one video because it's really a lot to talk about. Alright, the report that they mentioned about in the article was that the hotels are relatively safe. Safe as it relates to what exactly? They're referring to being sexually assaulted by the males or the male staff members. The first thing is, what they need to do is, one, they need to name these hotels, right? Approach these hotels and talk to them. But the thing is, they were saying that most of the cases for the report, most of the cases happened in the resort. If most of it happened in the resort, that's not really Jamaica though. Yes, that's in Jamaica, but that mainly has to do with the employee that works at the place and not necessarily the entire country, if you get what I'm saying. In Jamaica, you have to be street smart. And even though you're from another country, you have to be aware of your surrounding. Like every other country, you have to be aware of your surrounding. Especially in a clustered area, you have to watch your things and ensure that your things are kept safely. As it relates to violence, no one is not really going to come up to you and shoot you like we're in a war zone. And I don't really understand the point of, I probably need to do more research on this, but I don't really understand the point where I see soldiers driving in army vehicles like tankers. Is it really that bad though? Come to think of it, is it really that, are we really at war? I really think some of these vehicles are unnecessary, and therefore me as a visitor coming into your country and seeing tankers driving around that I would see on a TV somewhere, that would make me fearful. Because when I went to Spanish Town sometime last year, I remember seeing, or 2 years ago, I remember seeing tankers driving in the area. I didn't know if they were just passing by or what, but I got very scared when I saw it, because I'm saying to myself, okay, I don't know what's going on. Why are they, driving with tankers? Are we in a war zone or something? It's very interesting, and to me, a tanker would be something that you use for extreme war, and I don't think we're that extreme. Maybe I'm naive, and maybe I don't really know what's going on in the environment there up in Montego Bay, but I don't think the tanker style of driving is necessary, honestly. It just drives fear in the people who are already fearful. You get what I'm saying? And for people who are coming into the country, it's a bit intimidating, especially they're already intimidated by just having a different skin color, because Jamaica is predominantly black ethnicity, and therefore them coming into the country, the different skin color, already make it intimidating. So that plus the petty thefts, and that plus the driving around in Montego Bay in a tanker, that's driving fear. That's just almost making things worse. So I don't know what's going on in Montego Bay, but I don't know. I really don't know. I know things are going on there, but I don't think it requires a tanker. Anyway, as it relates to homosexuality, Jamaica is a very homophobic community, and therefore whenever you're coming to Jamaica, coming to the island, and you are homosexual, I would advise that you be discreet. Well, not express yourself publicly, because our society have not fully accepted that lifestyle, and therefore you kissing a woman in public, or you kissing a man in public, will make some people feel offended or feel disrespected for you coming into their country and not understanding that this is their culture and they don't appreciate you. It's just like if you go to another country and a female is wearing something revealing. In their country, they consider females to dress appropriately, and therefore if you go in a country and it's almost, by the way, it is illegal in our country. I think it is illegal, yes. So you bear that in mind, and therefore just travel, enjoy yourself, but whenever you're going to do something that is going to offend the culture of our country, bear that in mind, and therefore do everything that you want to do in private. Don't come, once you're coming into Jamaica, do your thing in private. Don't publicly express your feelings in public, as it's not acceptable as yet by everyone, and therefore you have to respect everyone's wishes. Right, so as it relates to homosexuality, just be discreet. Not saying you can't be yourself, but just be discreet and be mindful that you are in an environment that your lifestyle is not acceptable. Is not acceptable to the culture, right? I know that there's so much more to talk about, but I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Jamaica is relatively safe, and it's up to you to, after everything you've heard, decide whether or not you want to come to the country. I mean, we can't force you to come to the country. You have your opinion, you have your decision of how you think about Jamaica. If you don't want to come, I mean, it's up to you, but I am telling you that you are missing out. You are definitely missing out. And what you're seeing on the media, what you're seeing, these things are happening in just a few areas of Jamaica. Yes, you might have petty theft in here and there in the island, but you just have to be street smart. You have to be aware of your surrounding and know how to move about. You just have to be smart, because even people in Jamaica who are not street smart, these things happen to them, and therefore just travel wisely. Just travel wisely. And also what I would suggest, if you are traveling to an area in Jamaica and you have no idea where you're going, I would suggest traveling in the day, so that you have enough time to ask questions and find yourself around. You don't want to be traveling at nights, and you don't want to be traveling in the night and asking questions. That's not wise in any country. So just bear these things in mind, and I hope that with all of this that I just said, and I know it might be a bit depressing but it's really not. Like, some of these things that happen, yes, we have a lot of things going on. For the size of our country, we just have we have almost a little under 3 million people living here, but I mean, we are happy people. When you come to Jamaica, I can guarantee you that you will have a great time. You just have to be smart and know you have to study the culture before you get here. Understand the culture, and if you understand our culture, believe me, you won't have a problem. If you understand the culture, you won't have a problem. That's all I have to say. Just understand our culture before you get to the country, and you'll have an idea what to expect. So when it happens, you're not very surprised. So yeah, this is the end of the video, and I hope that it was helpful. I hope that it shed some light on what Jamaica is like as it relates to safety. I know it might not be as comforting as I would want it to be, because things happen, and it I can't really hide it, but it is what it is. The reality is these things happens. Everything happens just like in other countries, and a few kidnappings here and there. It does happen, but you just have to travel smart, street smart, and be aware of your surrounding, and you're good to go. So that's the end of my video, and I hope that it was helpful in some way, and I hope that in spite of all of that, we will see you in Jamaica. So see you, and next week, yeah, see you. Oh, remember to subscribe to my channel. I know that you are watching because I have a lot of views and more than I have subscribers. So remember to subscribe, and see you next week.